Hello, today I'm going to talk about language. First of all, language is what differentiates humans from animals. It is a complex system of communication where humans acquire knowledge of words, of structures, of sentences, of grammar, and we can acquire language by observation, imitation, or consciously. Now I'm going to talk about language features. The first one is duality. That means that the conversation has a speaker and a hearer. Displacement, when we talk about imaginary situations that could be in present, past, or future. Arbitrariness is humans give a meaning to something. The humans give a meaning or give a word to everything. Productivity means like with certain vocabulary we generate an infinite number of sentences, and in this way we can transmit our ideas. Cultural transmissions means that words can be modified according to our culture. For example, the trunk of the car, in some parts they call it boot, B-O-O-T. And it could also be, everyone knows that it's like the shoes, so it have two meanings depending on the part. Discreteness is for each grapheme we have a phoneme. So, for example, we have the word English. The written form is this one, and the phoneme is this one. The nature of language means like if the language was acquired or if it is learned. For example, our mother language is acquired by observation and imitation, and our second languages are just learned. Reciprocity is to show interest in the conversation so that we can continue it. Phonology is a branch of linguistics that study the language sounds. This is important because when we are learning a new language, we need to, sometimes we can think that the words have the same, some words have the same sound, but even when they are very similar, one with the other one, they have different sounds and different meanings. Phonetics is another branch of linguistics that analyzes articulatory and acoustic properties of speech sounds. We have also places of articulation. The first one is bilabial, and it means that both lips are together. For example, with the B, B, or The other one is labiodental. With this one, we touch the bottom lip with the upper teeth. For example, with the B. The other one is interdental. That is when we insert the tip of the tongue between the teeth with the. The other one is alveolars. With the alveolars, the tongue is raised in various ways. For example, with the T, the, The other one is palatals. When we raise the front part of the tongue to the palate. For example, with words like measure, cheap, or judge. You can feel how the tongue touches the palate. The other one is velars. With velars, we raise the back of the tongue to the soft palate or belly. For example, with k, j, or ng. The other one is uvulars. When we raise the back tongue of the uvula, but we don't use them, it's very rare to use them in English. We use more for the French language or Arabic sounds, not for English. For example, twill, we can touch our uvula. And the last ones are the glottals. We use the glottis only, not the tongue or the teeth. For example, when we pronounce the word who or hell. Now I'm going to talk about the manner of articulation that basically distinguish the sounds of the words or the sounds that we produce with our mouth. For example, it tells the way the airstream is affected. If it is blocked, partially blocked, if the vocal cords vibrate or not, if the air flows out of our mouth or out of our nose. With the manners of articulation, we also distinguish or differentiate between the voiced and voiceless sounds. For example, the voiceless are when the air flows freely through the glottis into the oral cavity. With the voiced sounds, the airstream forces the vocal cords to vibrate. With the nasal sounds, the air escapes through the nose and through the mouth. The oral sounds, the air escapes only through the oral cavity. We have also some words or some sounds where we made some stops. For example, with some consonants in which the airstream is completely blocked. For example, p, b, t, and d. We have also the fricatives, and it's when the sound is so severely obstructed that it causes friction. The affricatives mean that the sound produced by a stop closer is followed immediately by a gradual release of the closer. For example, church or judge. And the liquids are when we have an obstruction but not enough to cause a constriction or a friction. For example, l or And finally, we have the glides that are the initial sounds of you or we. Now I'm going to talk about words and sentences. First of all, I'm going to explain what is a word. A word is the smallest element that in isolation has a certain meaning. And we have also morphemes that are the minimal meaningful unit of a language. That means, for example, we have the word quickly. Quick is a morpheme and ly is another one. We can separate the words into its minimal unit. The word formation process. To know the meaning of the individual parts of the word, we use the word formation process. In this way, we can tell words or we can listen words that we have never heard before, but we can know the root of the word, and in that way we know the meaning. For example, uglification. Probably I haven't heard the word before, but since I know what is the meaning of the root, that is ugly, and then iffy and cation, then I put it all together and then I can know what is the meaning of the word, even if it's the first time that I listen it. We can create new words from a base by adding suffixes and affixes. The affixes are also called prefixes. So in this way we have, for example, the word review. The prefixes are the ones that go before the word. For example, re is a prefix. The suffixes go after the word. For example, loyalty, the ty, t, is a suffix and it goes after the word. And then I'm going to start talking about compounding words. for example, are new words that are created from existing ones. An example of a compound word is, for example, a noun plus what plus a noun. For example, armchair. Another one is an adjective plus a noun. For example, whiteboard. The other one is preposition plus noun. For example, overcoat. Another example of a compound word is verb plus noun. For example, playroom. What we have also is a compound word is not just about two words. It could be more than two words. These ones are multi-compound words. For example, 10-year-old boy. We have also blending. That is when two separate forms produce a new term. For example, smog, that comes from the word smoke and fog. Clipping is the short form of the word. For example, info comes from the word information, or doc from doctor. We have also back formation, that is the reduction process. For example, actor, act. Or we have also the conversion, that we change the function of the word. It can be from noun to verb. An example of conversion from noun to verb is paper as a noun and paper as a verb, or bottle as a noun and bottle as a verb. We have also phrasal verb to noun. For example, print out and a printout. And the last one is the acronyms. The acronyms are words that are formed with the initial letter of other words. For example, UNESCO. Now I'm going to talk about the sentence structure. But first of all, I'm going to mention about syntax. Syntax governs the structure of the sentences. Basically, it talks about the word order in a sentence. We have simple sentence that is formed by a noun phrase plus a verb phrase. A compound sentence that is formed by a subject plus verb plus complement, a coordinating conjunction, subject plus verb plus complement. And we have also a complex sentence that is formed by a subordinating conjunction plus a dependent sentence and an independent sentence. Joseph and Claude, to have a good language, we need to know the places of articulation, manners of articulation, language features. We also need to know about the structure of the sentences. In this way, we will have not just a good spoken language, but also a good written language. Thank you for watching.